From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. These are some of the developments on day 29 of the war. The bodies of more civilians, nearly 300 of them now, have been brought out of that shelter that was bombed in Baghdad. The Pentagon briefer again expressed his sorrow for the loss of civilian life, but insisted again it was a military target. The U.S. lost another plane overnight. Its 2 crewmen were killed. But overall, the view from the U.S. High Command today reflects a very confident mood. We begin with ABC's Bill Redeker in Saudi Arabia.
U.S. military officials today said they had experienced such great success in the air during the past few days that Allied warplanes have now taken out 1/3 of all Iraqi armor, artillery, and tanks in Kuwait and southern Iraq. 1,300 tanks, 800 armored vehicles, 1,100 artillery pieces, more than double the number reported 1 week ago. The British, who displayed gun sight video, said more than half of the 600 hardened aircraft shelters on their target list had been bombed.
That attack was successful. It will have been a direct hit. And as we move across, you just get some idea of the sort of scale. This is one corner of an airfield.
U.S. pilots today prepared for their part in the campaign, bombing defensive positions or revetments in Kuwait.
There must be 70 or 80 revetments right up in there. Probably half of them have things in it. So I'm just planning on going back there.
Aided by good weather, pilots say that they are increasing the number of their flights. A-10 tank killers are now being refueled in the air in order to save time. Near the front, tanks and helicopters have been moved up and are training under more realistic conditions, creating clouds of smoke to simulate battlefield conditions. And today, Marines, who are expected to be the first over the line, made what they said could be their last phone calls before going to war. Another last-minute morale booster, a visit by the commanding general of the Army's elite 7th Corps, who passed out good luck commemorative coins to soldiers manning M1A1 tanks.
Yeah, good luck, troops. Here's your prayer.
Despite recent indications that it might be 3 weeks before a land battle begins, today's assessment of battlefront damage and Allied preparedness at the front seem to suggest that ground forces will be ready even sooner. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Saudi Arabia.
Which, to re-emphasize the point, doesn't necessarily mean that the ground war is about to begin, even though that was one of the hotter rumors in the Middle East and out today. What there is on the record is a very public indication from the military high command that the constant air attacks have, in the U.S.'s mind, truly undermined Iraq's fighting capacities. Here's ABC's Bob Zelnick.
Pentagon officials say of the nearly 1,100 bombing sorties conducted during the past 24 hours, over 85% were against Saddam Hussein's troops in Kuwait and southern Iraq.
I would say his military position is precarious, and I just don't have a good number on how many have been injured or killed, but I think the number is very high because of the constant bombing.
Preparations for a possible ground war are now becoming more intense. Sources here say the Marines have begun using fuel-air explosives against the Iraqis. The bomb spreads a fine mist of fuel over a wide area and then detonates it. In addition to killing enemy troops, the explosives can be used to set off landmines. The Air Force has also been using C-130 aircraft to deliver 15,000-pound bombs called daisy cutters. These are the largest conventional bombs the U.S. has and are primarily used to set off minefields protecting Iraqi positions. Clearing mines is often among the last steps taken before a ground offensive is launched. Still, sources here say a full-scale ground war is not imminent, and they note that a large Marine amphibious force likely to participate in that war is still more than 500 miles from Kuwait. Bob Zelnick, ABC News at the Pentagon.
The Iraqis fired 2 more Scud missiles overnight, this time at the city of Hafr al-Batan in northern Saudi Arabia. U.S. military officials say the Scuds may have been of inferior quality. They broke up in midair. Still, debris set an auto repair shop on fire, and 4 people were slightly hurt. Now the war and the engineers. When the ground battle starts, American troops will face fortifications built by Iraqi combat engineers, who are often described as superb at their jobs. Anti-tank trenches and razor wire fences, just to begin with. Success will depend to a large degree on how quickly American combat engineers can open up those fortifications. The engineers practice their trade at Fort Leonard Wood. Here's ABC's Al Dale.
In the heart of Missouri, a rehearsal is underway for breaking through the Iraqi defenses, the Saddam Line, a stretch of minefields, ditches, and barbed wire.
Push, let's go!
Under simulated enemy fire, the combat engineers, called sappers, sneak up to a barbed wire barricade, attach explosives, retreat, and detonate.
Nobody can go anywhere without us, because the tanks, armor, infantry, they can't go anywhere until we clear the way.
Sappers clear the way over anti-tank ditches by erecting 60-foot temporary bridges from armored vehicles so tanks and infantry can cross. They use armor-plated bulldozers to knock down earthworks hiding enemy troops and artillery, and clear pathways through minefields by setting explosive charges, sometimes mine by mine. In a real war, they would do all of this with the enemy shooting at them. Historically, combat engineers have suffered heavy losses.
First thing we got to do is blow a hole through that wire with the Bangalores.
During the Normandy invasion, their casualties were among the highest as they paved the way for other assault forces to attack highly fortified German positions. Combat engineers have not been called on to breach enemy positions on that scale since World War II.
In both Korea and Vietnam, the fronts constantly changed. But in the Gulf, the battle line has been drawn from the beginning.
The fortifications there could once again mean heavy casualties among combat engineers, and they know it.
Boom, you're hit!
Sergeant Robert Carlton worries about the survival of his 9-man squad.
If everything does go great, we might only suffer 2 or 3 casualties. But in the worst scenario, the whole squad could buy it.
Now that I think about it, I'd rather have a different job.
Some sappers who finished their training here 2 weeks ago are already on the front line in Saudi Arabia. This group, which has almost completed its training, may join them soon at the head of a ground assault, depending on them to clear the way. Al Dale, ABC News, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
That word Al Dale used for the engineers, sappers, the word comes from the French word sap, to undermine or to dig under. In the Middle Ages, sappers would dig trenches across the land right up to the wall of an enemy castle, forming a safe approach for soldiers who followed, as they do today. In a moment, the politics and the pain after yesterday's bombing in Baghdad. The people of Jordan questioning the value of friendship with the United States. And on the home front today, turning off the water to California farmers.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Ford Motor Company.
Know our assignment and go out and do it with some aggressiveness.
Why is it that some people constantly manage to reach heights others can only dream of? A few towns in western Pennsylvania have produced more football legends than any other place.
We play with poison.
Dan Marino.
We know at the end of this game.
Johnny Unitas. George Blanda. What is it about these towns that gives birth to such greatness? Fierce pride, tradition, an obsession with excellence, the very things that drive us at Ford. When leadership is in your blood, you push yourself to greater and greater heights. Our 1991 four-door Explorer and Escort have recorded the highest customer satisfaction ratings in our history. And starting right now, you'll be seeing more new models and exciting innovation from Ford and Lincoln Mercury than you've seen in years. America fell in love with Ford in the 80s, and we're going to be even tougher to beat in the 90s. Ford Motor Company.
In Baghdad today, the public mood seems to be deeply affected by yesterday's attack on the air raid shelters, which, as you know, the U.S. says was also being used for military communications. Baghdad radio said today that this ugly crime will not pass without the strongest retaliation. ABC's Bill Blakemore has been to the shelter again.
All day, they kept bringing out the bodies, at times one every 2 or 3 minutes. Inside, we found it like an oven, intense heat still radiating from the thick concrete walls and from the floor below. During the day, a British broadcasting television team was able to get down to the floor below, unaccompanied by any escorts. They reported that they were able to roam freely, that they found only some floor plans for the air raid shelter, and that they found nothing that indicated to them in any way that there was anything military connected with the shelter. This area in which many bodies have been found is obviously one where there were many bunk beds, apparently where the women and children were spending the night. In the late afternoon, workers were still struggling through the twisted metal as officials said the death toll was now 288, with many more to come. The trucks kept filling up and driving away, past waiting relatives who knew they might never be able to identify the bodies of their loved ones. In a main street nearby, the community of Almeria filled one of the first of many funerals with gunfire in sign of grief and fury, and with angry words aimed through foreign journalists. "My mother, she's gone," shouted this young man.
Our revenge will be 1,000 Americans for every single Iraqi people. Liberating Kuwait does not mean destroying, does not require destroying Baghdad.
In less emotional tones, Iraq's Minister of Information, Latif Jassem, presented the first official Iraqi reaction to the shelter bombing. "These civilian deaths," he said, "mean George Bush is like Hitler and is a war criminal." It seems unlikely, however, his words could add anything to the feelings of those waiting at the shelter.
Why? Children, girls, boys, men, women, why? Arab, why?
This woman asked, "Could not all your modern technology tell you that there were children and women here?" Bill Blakemore, ABC News, in the Almeria district of Baghdad.
From the U.S. military and its civilian bosses in Washington, no suggestions that the attack would lead to a change in what targets the U.S. goes after. At the White House, here's ABC's Britt Hume.
The Bush administration continued to be haunted today by these images of civilian death from yesterday's bombing in Baghdad. But officials acted more sure than ever that the target was a military installation, surrounded, as this picture illustrates, with a barbed wire-topped fence. They charged that its use by civilians is a violation of the Geneva War Crimes Conventions, for which Baghdad is to blame.
It's not a sane and rational thing from our perspective. We would never ever put civilians in a military communications facility that we knew was an apt target for the enemy.
To further the case that Iraq mixes civilian and military installations, officials claim the Al Rashid Hotel, home to foreign journalists, also houses a key underground command and control facility. Not a bunker, they said, but a communications cable interchange. They said journalists given a tour of the hotel basement today would not have seen or recognized it. At the White House, spokesman Fitzwater said nothing about the hotel, but seemed to toughen the administration's stand generally on what would be bombed. "We will continue to attack command and control centers," he said. "There will continue to be casualties. There will continue to be civilian losses on both sides. The war goes on." Officials here think it a bitter irony that Saddam Hussein, of all people, should have scored points on the issue of civilian casualties. Spokesman Fitzwater cited fresh word-of-mouth accounts of Iraqi barbarism in Kuwait, but he added ruefully, "We don't have pictures." Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House.
In Jordan today, another very bitter outburst at the U.S., a real falling out between old friends. When we come back.
You know what I like best about going on vacation? Eating out. So on this vacation, I'm dining my way from San Juan to St. Thomas, from Guadalupe to Caracas, from Cozumel to Grand Cayman. It's all included in the price. But what I really like about this vacation is that my favorite restaurant goes everywhere I go. Take a 3, 4, or 7-day fun ship vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
We're on the South Ridge, taking him west. What's next?
Well, we're looking for maximum suspension load.
Go get it.
Not even the deer and the antelope play here. The perfect place to put a GMC truck to an off-road abuse test.
Let's take it to this one.
After all, GMC trucks didn't become #1 in resale value by following in someone else's footsteps.
What's the status?
We really maxed it out today.
With 84 models redesigned and engineered, GM is putting quality on the road.
This is the sound of Unisom, the sound of sleep. With Unisom, you hit your pillow and fall asleep fast. Tonight, you can sleep more soundly with Unisom, America's #1 sleep aid.
When sore muscles or minor arthritis pain hold you back, you need strong medicine. Ben Gay with not just 1, but 2 pain relievers. Warming power for fast relief helps get you going again. Ben Gay, fast, strong medicine for pain relief.
There was an angry demonstration today outside the American embassy in the Jordanian capital Amman. As ABC's John Donvan reports tonight, the bombing in Baghdad has only intensified the anti-American edge to public protest.
The sidewalk outside the U.S. Embassy was always out of bounds for protesters. That rule fell today. The chants, Saddam, use your chemical weapons, death to America, shut down this embassy. And when they rushed past police to the embassy wall, the words they wrote were, Bush, the butcher. No longer does anyone call Jordanians moderates, but no longer say Jordanians, can Americans claim they're the good guys, not when the whole world understands that children are dying next door in Iraq.
Now it's very difficult to portray any American as a good guy because he's in the other side. He is in the war camp. He's the leader of the war camp.
This in a country where many people used to find a lot to admire in American ways and believe that Americans at least wanted to do the right thing, but no longer. Today, the city hung flags of mourning for Iraqi civilians killed in what Jordan's newspapers call a massacre. All Jordanians are questioning the value of American friendship, even at the highest levels of government.
Here is a country that for decades has been a friend of the United States. What does it have to show for it? And the anger is basically leveled at ourselves. What has our moderation bought us? This is the feeling. How can we justify this relationship?
Some believe reconciliation is possible.
I believe deep at heart the king and the educated elements in this country are pro-Western, believe in democracy, and believe in the United States, and believe in the Western way of life.
But that is not what they're saying on the streets.
Some of today's crowd stayed outside the U.S. Embassy well past sundown tonight. In a nation where normally few people even go out at night, it is another breach in the customary reserve of a nation the West so long recognized as a good friend. John Donvan, ABC News, Amman.
In Moscow today, another scathing denunciation of the U.S., this time in the Soviet government newspaper Izvestia. It says that Desert Storm has become Desert Slaughter, and goes on, the first alliance with the U.S. in the post-Cold War era proves not to be easy because we are siding with murderers. It comes just as the Soviets are engaged in a major diplomatic initiative. Here's ABC's John McWethy.
The Soviet Union is at the center of the first real effort to stop the war. This weekend, Iraqi Foreign Minister Tariq Aziz will fly to Moscow, his first trip out of Iraq since the shooting started. The foreign ministers of Iran and Kuwait will also be in the Soviet capital, plus 3 foreign ministers of the European community. Special envoy Yevgeny Primakov's meeting with Saddam Hussein earlier this week in Baghdad was the first step. Today, Primakov indicated that President Gorbachev thought movement was possible.
Do you think the president has optimism?
You see, if not, we shall not invite Tariq Aziz to Moscow.
Secretary of State Baker telephoned Soviet Foreign Minister Bezhmertnik yesterday and was given a briefing on Primakov's mission to Baghdad. Though the Soviets say they see small new signs of Iraqi flexibility, U.S. officials say it does not look like much to them. John McWethy, ABC News, the State Department.
In our next segment, the other news. New car dealers having a very bad year.
It's Color Tile's President's Day sale. Store-wide savings up to 67%. DuPont Stainmaster Carpet, incredible. Only $10.99 installed. And mini blinds, buy one, get 2 free. Tremendous reductions on ceramic floor and wall tile. Entire stock Armstrong no-wax floors, wood flooring, and wall covering too. So hurry. Save up to 67% at Color Tile's President's Day sale. Sale ends Monday.
Stress, headache, pains like a rope around my skull. So I take Anacin. It's got the strength to tackle the pain fast.
Anacin or aspirin-free Anacin 3. Strong pain relief for today's stress headaches.
Stouffer's invites you to eat like you really like to eat. Introducing 8 of your all-time home-style favorites, like tender Salisbury steak with our original macaroni and cheese, sliced turkey breast in gravy with homemade stuffing, And to tempt you even more, they're all under 370 calories. So dig in. They're new from Stouffer's.
I was an IRS agent for 24 years. You can imagine, people weren't very happy to see me coming. I stopped working for them about 5 years ago. Now I'm a member of AARP, and I volunteer to help people do their taxes through the AARP Tax Aid Program. And you know, I hear something I thought I never would.
Boy, am I glad to see you.
AARP, making a difference. Flu rages across the U.S. Now in 46 states. What will you do? Doctors recommend Theraflu, hot liquid medicine that works fast. Theraflu, strong therapy for flu symptoms.
America's two biggest automakers released their sales figures for the last quarter of 1990 today, and they lost a lot of money. $1.62 billion for General Motors. It's the biggest loss ever. And $1.62 billion is what I said. For Ford, a loss of $519 million. And the prospects are not good. Here's ABC's Stephen Ogg.
If you want an idea of how bad the automobile business really is these days, just walk into almost any car dealer and you have to search for the customers.
In August, the sales died right on the spot. It's a combination right now. Sales, it's a recession plus the war, and sales in the fourth quarter were dead. They're dead in January. They're starting out in February the same way.
In fact, last year, 900 automobile dealers went out of business, the largest number since the 1982 recession. This year, forecasters expect 2,000 to go out of business, about 10% of the industry. That would be an all-time record. The average dealer actually lost money selling new cars last year. Randy Blount of Hilltop Lincoln Mercury near St. Louis sold his Chevrolet franchise because of the recession.
In the 18 years I've been involved with the automobile business, this has been the worst that I've ever seen it.
Some dealers have learned to cope with the problem. At Oarsman Chevrolet near Washington, D.C., they're selling fewer cars, but they're making more money. To do this, they've cut costs.
Personnel reductions primarily, advertising reductions, and purchasing. Through our purchasing, we've been able to reduce a lot of the costs.
With manufacturers fighting to retain market share and dealers mostly suffering, industry observers say this is a good time to shop for cars. Stephen Ogg, ABC News, Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials lost nearly 32 points today to close at 2877, and the trading was heavy. Very dry days in California. For more than 4 years now, the state has been caught in a severe drought. Conservation measures have been imposed on everyone, from city apartment dwellers to industries. Today, the state's farmers were hit again. The federal government is cutting their water by 75%, cutting it to a trickle. Here's ABC's Gary Shepard.
California's reservoirs are running dry.
This is the worst condition I've seen the water supply in the state of California's history that I've experienced in 40 years. No segment of the population in the state is going to be unaffected.
In the San Joaquin Valley, apricot, almond, and cherry orchards are dying because of the lack of water. These trees need 1 million gallons an acre in order to prosper. Today's decision means they will get only 250,000 this year.
No question about it. No question at all. This orchard's a dead orchard. The only possible way you can save part of it is save one little section of it. And that surely isn't going to pay the bank or the county taxes.
A few farmers may be able to buy water from other farmers who have chosen not to use their allocation, but the vast majority of them have nowhere to turn.
There's going to be a lot of land that's not farmed, a lot of land set aside. There'll be a lot of jobs lost both on the farm and throughout the food handling and processing chain.
This state's severe drought may soon be felt nationwide in the form of higher prices for some fruit and vegetables. Gary Shepard, ABC News, Sacramento, California.
We'll be back in just a moment.
When creating the new G20 midsize luxury sedan from Infiniti, these were just a few of the amenities we kept in mind. Seating surfaces that are fitted with leather, a cabin that heightens the level of comfort and stretches the limits of space. Of course, with 16 valves and 140 horsepower, that mind also has an alter ego.
Somebody put these Harvest Crisps in the wrong box.
Delicious.
Right, so what's a delicious cracker like that doing in a box that says low fat, no cholesterol?
Beats me.
I mean, if Harvest Crisps are so good for you, how come I can't stop eating them?
I don't know, hon.
I love them.
The Japanese do it. The Germans do it. Even Icelanders do it. While others save, America spends. Now Dreyfus says, save America to help save America. Call 1-800-DREYFUS.
Today, there's a diet pill that can help you lose weight without caffeine to make you nervous.
All my life I've been struggling with my weight. With Dexatrim, I finally lost weight and without being hungry.
No matter what else you've tried, Dexatrim can help you lose weight. Just one works all day, morning through bedtime, to control your appetite and help you lose weight.
Dexatrim did it for me. I lost weight and feel great.
Today's caffeine-free Dexatrim. Nothing works harder to help you lose weight. Nothing.
Coming up on Channel 2 News at 6, a live report from Operation Desert Storm in Saudi Arabia. Tonight, why it looks like Saddam Hussein changed his strategy. Details next at 6.
Finally this evening, this Valentine's Day, the war and how it affects some of the people who live along Route 83. ABC's Tom Foreman again, out of the Dakotas now and into Nebraska, as he makes his way south towards the Mexican border.
With flags and fanfare, the people of Nebraska are sending their love to the soldiers overseas, telling the troops they are thinking of them, telling them they care. This is Valentine, Nebraska.
We are here to show support. Anytime you want to give a hoop and a holler, you do it, because that's what it's about.
Nearly 1,000 people, a third of this small town, showed up for this rally for the troops to hear Brian Quigley, a World War I veteran, say what so many here feel about the war.
We may not agree with everything, but we have a duty to support our country, good, bad, or indifferent.
Normally in February, the town celebrates the arrival of thousands of cards to be postmarked and sent out to friends and lovers across the nation. This year, many of the letters are bound for soldiers in the Gulf, and at the Veterans Hall, the holiday has taken on a somber note.
I made a Valentine so different and new. The heart isn't all red, but red, white, and blue.
Volunteers are preparing care packages, hoping they will cheer up the troops. Pat Jacobson has 4 children in the Gulf. She says doing this helps ease her worries.
It makes us feel better, too. I mean, you hate to be falling apart when your kid calls. And it helps if you have friends here helping you to help them.
Carol Fullerton has 2 sons there.
I just wish they'd come home, and I hope they come home safe. Yeah. I guess I think of that every day.
Events half a world away have shaken the peace of this remote town, turning the symbols of a light-hearted holiday into something quite different. Tom Foreman, ABC News, Valentine, Nebraska.
That's our report on World News tonight. We'll have updates on the war every hour, on the hour, later on Primetime and on Nightline. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night.
And now, the news continues with Channel 2 News at 6.
Good evening. Tennessee taxpayers are speaking their minds on Capitol Hill. I'm Ann Holt.
And I'm Bob Mueller. Tennesseans jammed the phone lines to some offices at the Capitol today, and the majority of the calls are against the governor's proposed 4% income tax to fund education. The governor says most people would actually pay fewer taxes because the sales tax would be lowered.